June 6, 1944. The beaches of Normandy are fortified. The German bunkers loaded with machine guns, artillery, and 50,000 Axis troops waiting for the invasion. The Allied plan? Overwhelm the coast with 150,000 soldiers, thousands of ships, and wave after wave of bombers. But let's change one thing. This time, in the middle of the operation, something appears. Not from the sea, not from the air, but from the future. A B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. With its pilot still inside. No backup, no modern support. Just one crew, one aircraft. Dropped straight into World War II. No one on the ground has ever seen anything like it. The Allies don't know what it is. The Germans don't even hear it coming. So what happens when a 21st century stealth bomber shows up at the most heavily defended beaches of World War II? Let's find out. And remember, this is a what-if scenario, not meant to be taken too seriously, but it's a fun one. Okay, let's get one thing out of the way. Yes, the pilots haven't been born yet. Yes, the bomber wasn't even designed until the 1980s. We're ignoring all of that. This isn't a time travel invasion, it's just one aircraft, dropped into 1944 with its modern crew and whatever's loaded on board at the moment. Once it's out of fuel or bombs, that's it. No restarting, no repairs, no second mission. This is a one-time strike, and everything depends on how it's used. So we're not asking if it could win the war. We're asking, how much chaos could one stealth bomber unleash if no one even knows it's there? But what exactly just dropped into 1944? A jet black flying wing, nearly invisible to radar, powered by 4 engines and crewed by just 2 people. This is the B-2 Spirit, the most advanced stealth bomber ever built. At full capacity, it carries 40,000 pounds of bombs, and not just any bombs. We're talking modern GPS-guided JDAMs, built to hit within a few feet. But there's a catch, and we'll get to that soon. It flies high, up to 50,000 feet, well beyond the reach of most World War II defenses, and cruises at 560 miles per hour. Fast, but not supersonic. It's not about speed, it's about being untouchable. The B-2 isn't a fighter. It has no guns, no missiles, no way to dogfight. It's built for one thing only: getting through defenses and erasing them from the map. Its range, over 6,000 nautical miles unrefueled, enough to circle Europe and head home. And while it is capable of carrying nukes, for this mission, we're sticking with conventional bombs only. So what happens when this ghost of the future arrives over Normandy, a day before the biggest amphibious invasion in history, and no one even knows to look up? Now, zoom in on Normandy, June 5th, 1944. The Germans are dug in. Over 50,000 troops are manning the Atlantic Wall along the French coast. They've spent years turning it into a fortress. Thousands of bunkers, machine gun nests, mortar pits, and artillery positions line the shore. Barbed wire stretches across the sand. Mines are hidden just below the surface, and concrete pillboxes sit waiting, aimed at the water. Their most famous weapon? The Flak 88, an anti-aircraft and anti-tank cannon. But in key areas, the Germans also have heavier guns, the Flak 38 and the massive Flak 40, capable of reaching bombers flying above 40,000 feet. But the German defenses have limits. Their radar systems are primitive, built to detect slow-moving propeller planes, not something flying at 50,000 feet coated in radar-absorbing material. Communications are slow, often wired, and intelligence is days behind. They're watching the horizon for ships, not scanning the sky for an invisible bomber from 50 years in the future. Who would have guessed? So, could the B-2 wipe the beach clean before the first Allied soldier even hits the sand? It starts with silence. The B-2 Spirit is already high above Normandy before anyone notices. Flying at over 50,000 feet, it's nearly invisible to the naked eye, and basically undetectable to 1944 radar. Almost no engine roar, no radio chatter, just a clear sky. Then, explosions. JDAMs fall from the stratosphere, built for surgical precision. But that precision depends on GPS, and in 1944, there's no satellite network. If the crew preloaded coordinates before jumping through time, the bombs still hit. If not, they have to rely on internal inertial navigation and visual cues. Inertial navigation doesn't need satellites. It tracks movement and detection from a known starting point, like submarines or missiles without GPS. It's accurate over short distances. But visual targeting is another story. From 50,000 feet, even on a clear day, spotting bunkers or gun positions is difficult. And in bad weather or unfamiliar terrain, it's more of a guessing game. Some bombs will miss. Still, it's chaos below. Crucial gun nests vanish. Craters tear through concrete bunkers. Flak crews never get a chance to fire. Radios go silent. Officers disappear. The chain of command melts into panic. But the B-2 can't stay invisible forever. Its stealth buys time, not unlimited power. Every bomb dropped is one it can't replace. And each one, by the way, costs around $30,000. And if it's hit by flak, one well-placed burst might scratch the paint and make it a little less invisible. But even wounded, the Spirit's still a nightmare to spot, let alone shoot down. It can fly higher than most German guns could reach. But if it descended for a run, even a single hit could tear through its systems. So can this flying phantom actually change the outcome of D-Day? Or does it just make one terrifying entrance and disappear? So let's say the B-2 hits its marks. Gun nests obliterated. Artillery positions gone. Entire bunkers flattened before sunrise. That kind of precision strike could save hundreds, maybe thousands of Allied lives, especially at Omaha, Utah, where German firepower turned the beach into a meat grinder. But the B-2 isn't a magic wand. Even with the best bombing run in history, the beaches are still lined with barbed wire, mines, snipers, and hardened bunkers. The Atlantic Wall was built to take punishment, and not everything's above ground. Some defenses are buried deep or hidden behind terrain. And then there's the chaos factor. Allied commanders aren't expecting a futuristic jet. If they don't know it's friendly, the bomber might trigger confusion, or worse, panic. Troops could mistake it for a German secret weapon. Anti-aircraft gunners might fire on it. Miscommunication could delay landings, or even scramble the invasion timeline. So while the B-2 could soften the beach and scatter the defenders, the soldiers still have to storm the beach. The bombs do damage, but the shock does something deeper. To German troops, the attack is basically invisible. No engine roar, no incoming aircraft, just explosions from the sky. A stealth jet in a world that doesn't know stealth exists. Morale collapses, discipline unravels. Some units might think the Allies have built a superweapon. Others might whisper darker rumors. They've made contact. This is alien tech. Okay, maybe not that, but whispers like that don't stop at the trenches. They reach the officers, and eventually, Berlin. Would Hitler believe the Allies had some new British miracle weapon? Would he start pulling resources from the Eastern Front to chase shadows, delay operations, lose trust in his own air defenses? Look, the B-2 bomber could definitely hit dozens of fortified targets. Bunkers, artillery positions, command centers, gone in one pass. It could shake the front lines, confuse the German command, and soften the beach for the Allied troops about to land. But it still wouldn't win the war. It's just one jet, one mission, one payload. Once the bombs are gone and fuel runs low, it's finished. No refueling, no reload, no repairs. It enters the war like a ghost and disappears just as fast. But in that brief appearance, it might save thousands of lives, bend the timeline, and leave every surviving soldier, German or Allied, staring at the sky wondering, what the hell was that? And what if the pilot survived and lived out the rest of his life in the 1940s? Or maybe the bomber creates an entirely new timeline, one where World War II ends early, but not in the way we know. Peace arrives faster, and the future changes forever. Any one of those twists could rewrite everything we think we know about history, but the truth, we'll never know. But what if something even crazier showed up in history, like a SEAL team facing 10,000 samurai? Watch the video on your screen now. Thanks for watching.